Welcome back, friends, to another weekly video. Should you take a risk? That is a question a lot of people struggle with, whether it's in their business or in their personal life even. So in today's video, that is the question we're going to tackle, and I'm going to be giving you a simple answer to the question, should you take a risk? Risk is the heart of finance. It's really what finance is all about. So if you're going to purchase an investment, what you're doing is you're setting a price based off of some assumption of what's going to happen in the future. Well, none of us really know what's going to happen in the future, so there's always going to be some uncertainty there. And when there's uncertainty, there's risk. And so the question you're asking in finance is, should I make this purchase and at what price? Now I want to stop and talk about this in depth, because this approach to dealing with risk is the same approach you use in your entire life. Life is full of risks, and so you're constantly grappling with this question, should I take a risk? So let's just talk about some examples you might be facing in your business. You might be doing an equipment purchase. So should you invest in an expensive piece of equipment not knowing how the market is going to turn out next year? Or you could be releasing a new product. So should you release this new product line not knowing how it will sell? Or you could be thinking about a career change. Should you take a new job not knowing if the company will grow? So you are constantly making these judgment calls in your life. And what finance is really doing is finance is giving you an analytical process you can follow as you think through these risks. Let's look at the big picture here. It is possible to live your life without taking any risks. Now, I don't recommend it, but it is possible. You can sit inside your house, never go outside, never take any risks, never feel threatened by anyone. You just sit inside your house and enjoy your life. That's a very comfortable existence. But if you do that, you probably won't have any money. You're not being productive. You're not accomplishing anything. You're just sitting inside your house, withering away. On the other hand, you could be going out into the world and taking risks, and maybe, just maybe, strike it rich. It is a risk. But one of the keys to being successful in life is figuring out how to deal with these risks. Now, I have made a ton of videos on this channel about risk, how to think about risk, understand it, analyze it, formulas to calculate risk, but let's forget all the details for a minute, because I think there's an easier way to think about this. Instead of asking the question, should you take a risk, change the question to, how should you take a risk? This reframes the whole issue. Instead of being about the decision, it becomes about the process of dealing with a risk. I find that when most people ask this question, should I take a risk, they're really not asking that question at all. They're usually asking about something that they want to do anyway. So what they're really asking is, how do I go about taking this risk in a fiscally responsible way? So by adding the word how to the question, it becomes about figuring out the process of mitigating that risk. Reframing the question is important. So the question, should I take a risk, is binary. It can either be yes or no. You have two answers to that question. The question, how should I take a risk, has the same answer every time. Follow the process. You can use the same process every time you analyze a risk. It's called finance, and finance has been developing these processes for decades. So if there is a difficult decision that you are trying to make, I'm going to give you a very simple approach to take. Risks almost never work out in the short term, but always work out in the long term. This is an incredibly helpful way to think about risk. So you're going to be taking all of these risks in the short term, and they almost never turn out the way you expect. But that's okay, because all of these short-term failures build on each other. You're learning lessons that over the long term end up paying off. So this should tell you two things. First, you should take a lot of risks. If you know you're gonna fail, you need to try a lot of things until something works out. And 2, never risk it all. Your goal is the long-term payoff, so don't risk it all on a short-term risk. So whenever you go after a short-term risk, you should always have a backup plan in case something goes horribly wrong. Because in the long term, you can always make your money back as long as you protect yourself. I hope this video got you thinking about the importance of risk in your life. You know, really, any decision you make in your life has risk to it. So the better you can get at thinking through these risks, the more successful you're gonna be. Now I want to hear from you. Have you ever had one of these moments in your life when you ask yourself this question, should I take a risk? Go ahead and let me know in the comments down below. And if you liked this video, if you found it helpful, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. The best way to supercharge a business is through accounting and corporate finance, and I release a new video every week, so come back and check out next week's video.